we up to today? We definitely need a clear up. We've got an old Hoover here. I just can't decide what to do with it. Basically the battery's gone and it needs a new battery, but it's £80. I can't really sell it. Any ideas, anybody? Some of it, I think that's actually alright. It looks broken, doesn't it? But a bit of a crack in there. But anyway, I'm getting delayed. Let's have a tidy up, I think. Right, that's looking a bit cleaner. Actually do something now. Still a ton of junk, obviously. Right, blank surface. Let's have a look at how to use a wood saw properly. Now, anybody could grab a piece of wood and just start chopping. So if you don't have a vise, you could use a clamp on a bench or a table. Clamp that down. Always much easier to clamp something down than try and hold something. So you can clamp that down and then use your saw here. Or you might have something like a toolbox like this that you could hold the piece of wood on at the side here. So it's always good to mark on the piece of wood where you're going to chop. It gives you a good line of where you're looking. If you can see down the saw there, if we mark a line on there, let's get a nice sharp pencil and mark a line. And when we look down the saw, you've got a line to follow there. Now if you're going to chop right through that piece of wood, it's also good to have a line on the edge as well. So we've got the line there, and then it's good to have a line there, because otherwise your saw could go through perfectly in line with the actual line, but it could be angled like this. Take our square again. We mark down from that line. Okay, so we've then got a guide of that way and that way. And it's also really good to hold it in a vise. I've got some rubber jaws on here so it doesn't hurt the wood. And then just to start off, we're actually, seems a bit weird, but we're actually going to put our thumb just touching the blade. We're going to actually make some strokes backwards just to start the wood off. So if I want this piece of wood, I'm going to try and cut to that side of the line. So I'm not cutting through the line, I'm just cutting just to the right of the line. So I'm just going to make my scores now. Yeah, backwards, because if I just start sawing, it could just slip all over the place. Okay, so if you can see down the line of the saw there, and then we just gently start there, and I can see the line at the top and the line down the bottom as well. Now another thing a lot of people do is just use one bit of the saw like this. So try and use the full, see how long this saw is, try and use the full length of that saw. So not only is it a lot easier, but you'll wear the teeth out on that bit of the saw there. So can you hear the noise as well, getting lower? Yeah, and you can hear there. I'm just trying to go more gently so that I don't splinter the wood. Let's check it. There you go, nice and square that way. Nice and square that way. Also, make sure you've got plenty of room when you're sawing. You don't want to be sawing here and have loads of things in the background. You want to make sure you've got plenty of room, get all this rubbish out of the way. It literally is rubbish. And then you've got a whole line there of room. So if we're standing over the workpiece like this and leaning forward, it might be best to put the mark on this side instead of this side, so that as we look down with the saw, we can see that mark on that side. Do our scores. making sure I'm not going to cut into the whatever we're leaning on. You can even put your knee on sometimes. That gives a lot more weight. So we want this piece of wood 30 centimetres. Put a little mark on the 30 there. Okay. And remember, we're going to cut to this side of that line. Right, so let's get our set square, either one. And mark that line. So we don't want this. It's always good to put a little mark of the bit you don't want. That should be in line with that line. Put that bit in the bin. We're going to look down the line of that saw. Just a few scores to get the saw started, and now I'm looking down both of those lines. See how that's so nice and straight with that line, and same along the top. I'm using the whole saw, whole length of the saw. Okay, now listen to the sound. It's going to get lower as it gets nearer the end of the cut. There you go. If you want to share the video to help people learn these simple techniques, these basic workshop techniques, that would be absolutely well appreciated. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit the like button at the bottom and subscribe to the channel. See you on the next one.